The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Las Vegas, Nevada, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 36546. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation. Starting on the face of the front bumper on the passenger side, you'll find your mechanical siren. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find 2 electronic siren and PA speakers. Moving to the driver's side face of the front bumper, you'll find dual air horns. Moving up onto the face of the cab lower section, you'll find 4 forward-facing emergency warning lights. Just up from that location on the outer edge, you'll find your turn indicator marker light, and on the inside, headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. Above that, forward-facing red and blue emergency warning lights. Directly behind the Pierce logo is where you'll find the release mechanism for your hood. As we move to the windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. And to the outer edge, you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. Moving up to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 clearance lights, identification lights. Located directly in the center, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight. As we move up to the roof of the apparatus, you'll find slightly angled emergency warning lights. There are 2 in the forward section of the cab and then also 2 in the rear section of the cab, passenger and driver side. As we move up to the top of the aerial device, you'll find emergency warning lights. There are 4 located across the top. And at the very top section, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight. General view of the apparatus from the driver's side. Let's start now with the cab section. As we move to the cab, on the front bumper section, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. You'll also find shoreline inlet for power. Just inside of the stepwell in the driver's space, you'll find an air inlet. As we move down to the wheel, you'll find Alcoa wheel, Michelin tires, and a visual sight gauge in the front axle. Moving up to the grab handles, they're easily accessible with a gloved hand for your door lock and latch. They are keyed. Right next to that, you'll find grab handles for gaining access in and out of the cab. As we move to the rear of the cab, you'll find a lower section emergency warning light. And as we move up to the very top section, rear portion of the cab, you'll find a side-facing floodlight. Let's move up onto the very top of the apparatus toward the aerial device, where you'll find an additional warning light, side-facing. And then you'll also find the additional emergency warning lights on the section of the cab directly behind the front driver and passenger seat. As we move to the side of the vehicle, you'll find 2 wheel chocks in front of the axle, and to the rear of the axle, you'll find your stabilizer pads. There are also warning lights throughout the vehicle. As we move up to the top section, you'll find side-facing floodlights. There are 2 located on the body section. Let's take a look at the rear of the apparatus. Let's move around now to the passenger side of the vehicle. Same configuration on the cab section and also on the body section. And let's focus back in on the front bumper area, where you'll find that side-facing emergency warning light on the bumper extension. And then also you'll find shoreline power inlets. There is a red and a blue. They are clearly marked, and I have an image here in the next shot to show you that the shoreline inlet 20 amp is your red, and then shoreline for your air conditioning unit is blue. As we move to the front axle, you'll find Michelin tires, Alcoa wheel, and a visual axle sight gauge. As we move inside to the driver's space, let's start first with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, window control, and a side-facing warning light. As we move to the stepwell, close-up of the air inlet. As we move inside the cab area, first you'll find when plugged into shoreline power, the auto charge system will be activated. I'd also like to point out about the right ankle of the operator, you'll find this placard. This yellow placard is indicating the date of manufacture, the 5-digit job number,
gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, the VIN number, all of the components, fluid capacity, and also fluid type. As we move to the floorboard area, to the left side, you're going to find a mechanical siren foot pedal. Moving up to about the left knee of the operator, you'll find your diagnostic information, first starting with the engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic port, tech module, and display. Just beneath that, you'll find ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and your regen inhibit switch. Let's move to the steering column and the steering wheel, where you'll find that your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system. There is an airbag located here. As you can see, it's indicated. Also on the outer edges, you have emergency siren and also emergency light controls. Let's move to the dash cluster now, where you'll find on the left side your hazard lights, four-way flashers, ignition and start switch. Also a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage or disengage all emergency lights. Headlight switch, and also a switch labeled panel, which will allow you to brighten and dim lights within preview of the operator. As we move to the dash cluster, you'll find on the left the transmission, oil, def level, and water temp. On the right, you'll find front and rear air, fuel, and volts. Located in the center, tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information will display above and below the speedometer. Let's move just to the right of the dash cluster. We'll start on the very far left with the yellow diamond. This is your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. Just to the right, you'll find the Pierce command zone. Tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. Please see the owner's manual for more information. Also, Allison transmission pad, digital readout, push button. Let's move back to the Pierce command zone. This is a touch screen, and also function buttons are just below. As we move to the right, the Allison transmission pad, push button, and digital readout. As we move to the right, you'll find your aerial master, aerial PTO, platform leveling, and generator PTO. Just beneath that, the air horn, electric siren, a siren brake for your mechanical siren, and load manager. Just beneath that, you'll have a engine brake on and off switch, settings for low, medium, and high for that engine brake, off-road traction, and front wheel lock. Moving just to the right of this location, you'll find your top section, which has your traffic advisor, additional warning and caution information placards, and then also mirror control for your left and right mirror. As we move to the very center section, you'll find your lateral acceleration indicator, and then also just in front of that, your climate control for heat, air conditioning, and also defrost. Moving overhead of the operator area, let's start first on the left side with the yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle, 12 feet 11.5 inches, the length 47 feet 5.38 inches, gross vehicle weight rating 78,000. As we start at the top, we have our emergency warning lights. As we move further to the right, you'll find your PA speaker and electronic siren. Moving just to the right of this location, you'll find all of our flood and scene lights located on the driver's side overhead section. And as we move just to the right, you'll find a storage location or also future location for additional options. As we move toward the center, you'll find the seatbelt information, red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted, green they're in the seat and belted. You'll also find the do not move your apparatus when light is on. It's the red light that will flash indicating you have a compartment or door open. Additional storage locations here for map book and resources. As we move behind the driver's seat, you'll find the manual tilt handle, and then just above that you'll find your backup speaker. This is the audible speaker for your backup camera. There's also volume control on the face. Let's move to the rear section of the cab area. Let's start with the door panel. Affixed to that door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, electric window control, and a grab handle. As we move into the cab, you'll find push on or off red lens or white lens lights, air conditioning units, and then also your intercom system. Let's go ahead and take a look inside. We have 2 forward-facing seats and then 2 rear-facing seats. As we look to the outer edges, you'll find roll-up compartment doors, LED lighting, and adjustable shelves inside. As we move to the forward section, just above the engine area, you'll find additional resource storage, and then also lift and turn latch will gain you access to the lower section for your daily checks for oil and transmission. As we move to the rear wall, you'll find 2 forward-facing seats. Let's go ahead and take a look to the exterior. All compartment doors are in the open position. We'll start with the first compartment. This compartment is a through compartment from driver to passenger. On the driver's side, you will find 2 vertical tool boards that do pull outward. You'll also find in this compartment on the vertical wall an outlet. This outlet happens to be controlled via shoreline power and then also generated power. As we move to the exterior down at the very bottom outside of the compartment, you'll find the 200-foot electrical cord reel foot pedal for rewinding the electrical cord reel, which is in the very uppermost compartment. I'd also like to point out some warning placards. This is a crush injury because of the movement of the aerial device stabilizers. We do have an additional warning regarding crush injury. Also, as we move to the next compartment, you'll find your battery charger. When plugged into shoreline power, this will become active. Also, right next to that, you'll find your air compressor to maintain brake air pressure. As we move to the very bottom section of this compartment, you'll find a pull-out tray and an adjustable shelf. The release for the tray is located on the lower right. Just underneath this area, you'll find the 5 air tank drain valves. There's also additional on the passenger side. Right next to this location is also the storage location for your folding wheel chocks. This is just in front of the rear axle. As we move to the forward section of the rear axle, you'll find the blue def fill location. Also SCBA bottle storage in between the 2 axles. As we take a look, we have a pull out and tilt downward. The release mechanisms are on the right and left side of the shelf. Here's a close-up of the 4.5 US gallon def tank. This is the fill location, once again blue cap. Here's a close-up of your SCBA bottle storage. This is in between the front and rear axle area. As we move to the next compartment, you'll find LED lighting and also ventilation within this compartment. As we move downward, you'll find your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. It is the silver cap. Just underneath this area, you'll also find an electrical outlet, 20 amp for shoreline generated power. Let's go ahead and move to the very rear compartment, where you'll find just under this compartment is the storage location for your stabilizer pads, also adjustable shelf and a pull-out tray in the lower section. Release mechanism located on the lower right. Also, just a reminder, there is crush injury warning label here because of the movement of the stabilizer. As we deploy the ladder, in between the ladder area is where you'll find an inclinometer from front to rear indicating red, yellow, and green for your options. As we move toward the rear of the apparatus, compartments are open. Let's take a look inside some of the compartments. We'll start on the far left-hand side, where you'll find a warning placard, do not ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. Also right next to that is where you'll find your warning buzzer, 1 stop, 2 go, and 3 back up. Also, you'll find the rear floodlight, and then also just above that, your hose chute. In addition, you'll find a warning stabilizer hazard before operating this device. You'll see the yellow and red placard on the left-hand side. Also, you'll find a push-button emergency stop, override, and stabilizer power, and then also your control module in the lower section. As we move to the right, you'll find your traffic advisor just underneath the backup camera, which is located in the very center. As we move inside the rear section of the ladder area, this is your storage location. On the torque box itself, you'll find on the left-hand side we have ladders for 10-foot folding, 14-foot 2-section, and then also a 2-section 35. On the right, you'll find a 28 2-section, 16-foot roof, and a 2-section 35. As we move to the very rear of the apparatus, you'll find these warning placards indicating direct pull only. Also a warning placard regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move to the right, this is your aerial inlet. It's the Pierce American Flag Eagle. We also have an inclinometer from left to right, and then also a pressure gauge located just to the right of that. Inside the pan door is where you'll find your 1.5-inch aerial drain. Let's move to the passenger side rear, where you'll find the hose chute and then also a danger placard indicating that the equipment is not insulated and therefore an electrocution hazard. Moving to the right side or passenger side of the vehicle, all compartments open. As we move to the rear stairs, in between the stairs you'll find an access panel. That access panel is for your stabilizer overrides. You'll find on the left-hand side a diverter switch for aerial or stabilizers, and then also in the lower section on the door face is where you'll find all your information regarding what each valve controls, then also some warning and danger placards within this area. Here's a close-up of that placard. Let's move from the rear toward the forward section of the truck. Starting in the rear compartment at the top, you'll find 12-volt access via barrel style, and then also an additional spare located within this space. As we move down, you'll find adjustable shelves and also a pull-out tray release mechanism located on the lower right. As we move to the next compartment forward, you'll find ventilation and LED lighting. As we move to the rear of the axle, you'll find SCBA bottle storage in addition with an oxygen bottle storage area. Just beneath that area, you'll also find a 20 amp outlet. Moving to the rear, once again, tandem axles, Alcoa wheel, Michelin tires. Let's move back up into the compartment area where you'll find an adjustable shelf that does pull outward and then also drops down. Release mechanisms on the right and left side. SCBA bottle storage also in between the two rear axles, and also an emergency warning light. Just as a reminder, we do have that electrocution danger hazard that the equipment is not insulated. Let's go ahead and move to the forward section here where you'll find two SCBA bottle storage locations and an oxygen bottle storage. As we move to the next compartment forward, adjustable shelf and pull-out tray, let's focus in on the very top section where you'll find 12-volt access here, DC, and then we'll also talk about the shoreline power. This is the S1, which controls the air conditioner, and then also your outlets on LS6 and RS4. As we move to the G panel, this is for your generated power. It also has a Cummins Onan module here to indicate the output, and then also shoreline power plug on the outside. As we move to the lower section, adjustable shelf pull-out tray. I would like to point out extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. Be cautious where you park your vehicle. Just in front of the exhaust is where you'll find your folding wheel chocks. As we move directly overhead, it's where you'll find the storage location for your 200-foot electrical cord reel. Also, as we move forward to that location, you'll find crush injury warning because of the stabilizer movement. As we move to the next forward compartment, this is where you'll find the foot pedal for the electrical cord reel, which is directly above the stabilizer area. As we move into the compartment on the passenger side, you'll find two trays located in the lower section. And then as we move to the very bottom section, this is where you'll find the foot pedal for the 20 amp 200-foot electrical cord reel. Also on this side, you're going to find air tank drain. There is 1/4 turn located on this side. As we move forward into the cab space, same configuration layout that we've previously discussed. Let's start with the door panel. Safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, and grab handle. Also, as we look inside, push on and off white or red lens lights, and also your air conditioning unit and intercom system. As we move to the rear wall, you'll find two roll-up compartments, LED lighting inside, and adjustable shelving. There are two rear-facing SCBA seats located in the rear section of the vehicle. Let's continue to move forward now. Once again, Michelin tires, Alcoa wheels, visual sight gauge on the front axle. We're now into the officer space. Let's start first with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, and then also the side warning light indicating that the door compartment is open. As we move to the front section of the dash, you'll find your supplemental restraint system. There is an airbag. Please do not mount anything within this area. As we move to the left of the dash area in the officer space, you'll find two push buttons. First, a mechanical siren, and then also the red air horn push button. I would like to point out within your vehicle you have 12-volt access via barrel style and USB, but I want to point out the warning placards indicating here. These are the red and white indicators indicating do not remove spare wiring. It identifies the type of wiring and also type of connection. As we move directly behind the seat, you'll find your unit radio and then also 12-volt access via a bus bar. As we move toward the center section of the cab area, you'll find resource storage location. Let's go ahead and look overhead in the officer space. Push on and off white and red lens, also a map reading light and additional storage location. As we move toward the center area, you'll find your unit radio. And then also we have a switch panel located just to the left of the radio. This is going to house the front flood, driver's side scene, passenger side scene, and siren brake in red. We also have some future switch locations if you need. Just as a reminder, when you engage the switch, the outer edge of that bezel does illuminate, indicating that the switch is active. Also moving just to the left, you have an additional storage location or module storage. Let's move now to the aerial device. Let's start first with the general view, and then we'll start with the very bottom section. We do have a spray located on the bottom and then also an aerial drain. There's also underneath here we have rubber bumpers and then also additional hook action locations on the very bottom section. There are also two downward facing floodlights. On the very rear section of the basket, you'll find pole lights located on the passenger and driver side. As we move now to the pedestal area at the base of the pedestal, this is where you're going to find your aerial overrides. You'll find the emergency power switch in the upper right-hand side, and then aerial device controls down in the lower section here. There are three for extend, retract, right, left, and up and down. As we move to the pedestal itself, some warning placard information here regarding electrocution hazard and then also crush injury. As we move to the very bottom section, your vehicle is equipped with air, and this is an air connection. To the left side of the pedestal in the lid area is where you'll find safety and warning placard information. Let's go ahead and start now with the very top section of the speaker. This is for your intercom system. We have volume control and also a push to talk. As we move down, you'll find on the left an emergency stop button is a push button. Your manual basket disable, and is a protected switch. Then also we have an air horn, rung light alignment, and monitor left or right. And then also all of our tracking lights and also under basket lights. As we move to the very bottom, you'll find aerial speed for slow, normal, and fast, and then also an emergency hydraulic power button. As we move to the controls, we have nozzle control, and then to the right we have ladder control for extend, retract, right, left, and lower and raise. Let's go back to the lid now, where you'll find the 100-foot steel aerial platform load chart. This is for your waterway on a 35-mile-an-hour wind condition with waterway dry and waterway charged. This is your charts. As we move down, you'll also find a chart for your monitor nozzle position. What I would like to point out at the very bottom is the asterisk information regarding cold or freezing temperatures. Also to the left, the NFPA 1911 testing placard. Also within this area, you'll find all of our danger warning placard information spelled out on the lid. Let's go ahead and take a look at a general view here of the aerial device from the rear section moving toward the front basket area. 3-section aerial device. On the fly section, we do have a 16-foot roof ladder. And a general view here as we move toward the basket area. On each right and left side, we have additional storage boxes. I would like to point out there are some warning placards here. These happen to be warnings regarding the life eye, life winch, life support, and life ladder. Also, I'd like to point out we do have electrical power to the basket area. And a general view here of the control forward section. Let's go ahead and take a look to the right here, where you'll find first an audible speaker. The outer edge of that bezel does rotate to brighten or dampen sound. An air outlet, also a safety anchor. And then just to the right, this is for your control module. Can be moved either to the driver or passenger side area. And then let's take a general view here of the center section. And let's focus now in on a few switches here. First with your lights at the very top section, nozzle control for raise, lower, right, left, and stream or fog. Also the selector switch for your monitor, We have open and close for each of those monitors with indicator lights, emergency stop, aerial speed for slow, normal, and fast, and then manual basket leveling up or down. Once again, there's also 20 amp outlet within this area. This is your ladder control we previously spoke. This can be removed from this location and moved either to the passenger or driver side door. This is a cover for your Pierce Command Zone informational display. Close up here of the audible alarm and breathing air. Close up of some additional warning placard information and also danger information. Your load charts are also located inside the basket area, along with your waterway dry and charged charts. The next set of images here are going to be of the cab in the tilted position and just general view here of the engine and chassis area. Let's first start at the very bottom section. This is going to be your tow hook location. Just as a reminder, when tilting your cab, make sure that you tilt the cab to its fully extended position and then install the safety bar located on the left side or driver's side frame rail. It is important that you leave the safety bar in place, but do not lower the cab onto the safety bar. Tack for front suspension. Let's go ahead and take a look now with the cab in the down position, and we'll start with the very top section of the cab area. You can see the emergency warning lights and the unit air conditioner and then also the 110 air conditioner. I would like to point out that this is a non-walking surface, and that's why we have these warning placards indicating that this is a non-walking surface. As we move down to the dunnage area, you see additional storage location. As we move to the forward section dunnage, this is where you're going to find your generator. Generator fill location, and then also electrical cord reels. You have access to the top section here. The next set of images are with the stabilizers deployed and the aerial device in the upright position. Congratulations, Las Vegas, Nevada, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 36546. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.